almost at top 10. So let's get seated on our mats today. I'm going to sit on my knees. If that doesn't work for you, feel free to sit crisscross or add a block under your sit bones. Take a moment to shake everything out. Maybe give those shoulders a few rolls. Let your eyes gaze soft to the ground or allow those eyes to close. Notice where your body is touching the mat, contacting the ground, and allow that space to get heavy and root down. Perhaps visualizing the roots growing from you through the floor into the nice, warm earth. And then from that solid rooted connection, let your spine grow tall, stretching out from your pelvis, lengthening. Allow your head and to rest on top. And allow those shoulders, arms to be heavy. All together, let's exhale the air. Inhale deep. And exhale long. Let your morning go, maybe blow it away. And watch yourself take 3 intentional breaths. Feeling the rise of the chest, perhaps the belly, let it expand. And then feel the deflation as the air leaves. We're using these 3 intentional breaths to transition from our morning into our time on the mat. Some weeks that's easier than others, but the breath gives us encouragement to leave that all behind. And with your next exhale, drop your chin towards your chest, opening at the back of your neck. Let those arms rest down. Then begin to make a few slow neck circles. Observing your snap, crackle, pop sounds, maybe little tight pulls here and there. Feeling free to hang out in a tight spot and send a special little breath to support that area before moving on. Pause and roll the other way. Keeping those arms and shoulders heavy. Moving slow. Reminding our neck, it doesn't just look at a screen, it can roll. We'll pause, chin to chest next time we're there. Bring your gaze back up to center. Opening those eyes slowly if you choose, and let's sweep those arms up nice and high. Stretching all the way from your rooted sit bones up to the tips of your fingers. Belly button into your spine, ribs knit together. Begin to turn towards your left. Using that core engagement to turn the body. Let your left hand drop behind you and your right arm will go across your body to your left leg, finding your twist. So inhaling the spine straight. Exhaling, anchoring the sit bones. Find your root. Perhaps bring that gaze over the shoulder. Just starting practice. This won't be your deepest twist, not even close. Just warming up the body. Then we'll come back to center. Sweep those arms up high again. Stretching from the sit bones all the way up. Belly button to spine, ribs knit together. Use that core and begin to twist to the right. Encourage your body to really twist. Drop the right hand down. The left hand comes across. Inhale, the spine tall. Exhale, find your root. Perhaps bringing your gaze over your shoulder. Beginning with a twist. And we'll come back to center. Let's reach those hands behind us, interlace the fingers. Roll those shoulders back and think about bending your elbows as you have a nice proud chest, and then reach the hands away. So we're not locking out the elbows because we want to encourage the stretch from the shoulder, collarbone gets wide. Maybe you want to bring the gaze up to the air, up the ceiling. There's air all around us. Taking an intentional breath as we reach behind. And then release those arms, coming into tabletop. Take a moment to find your foundation. So spreading those fingers out, index fingers forward. Allow the fingertips to grip and the knuckles to root down. Allow the arms to hug toward each other. Nice, strong arms. Dropping into cow. So I think about dropping my belly down, lifting the sit bones high. Bring your shoulders, your chest through your shoulders, and that gaze comes up. Feeling a few breaths, holding in cow. And then transitioning from cat, start with your tailbone. Begin to tuck your tailbone under, bring your hip bones towards your head. Allow that spine to grow and arch up really high. Round your spine and allow your neck and head to hang, pushing the ground away. So your arched back cat, feeling the full pose. And then to your own breath, starting back at the tailbone, begin to lift the pelvis up, drop the belly. Bring the chest, the shoulders, gaze comes up. And then starting at the tailbone, let's tuck those hip bones under. Begin to reach the spine toward the ceiling. Drop the head and neck. Feel the cat. And then go in the other direction. So today we're doing all of our movement from the tailbone first. But right now, just noticing how if we think about our tailbone first, switching between cat and cow, going at your own pace. How does that feel in the pose? So exploring cat and cow a little bit differently today. Thinking a lot about the tailbone, even though this pose stretches many, many things. Coming back to neutral. Walk those hands back to the knees, sitting up tall. Take a moment to interlace the fingers and roll the wrists around, going one way and then the other. Bringing those hands behind you, my fingers are facing the front of the mat. I'm leaning back, proud chest, squeezing the shoulder blades together. Squeeze your glute muscles to lift your hips. Bring in the hips forward, the quads forward, proud chest. You can look at the ceiling. Maybe you want to drop the head back. I have a table in my way. You see what works for you. So hips coming forward, quads stretching, proud chest. Feel the breath. And we'll come back on to our knees, come up tall for a moment. Let's walk forward to our tabletop once again. You're going to try a puppy pose. So the knees are under the hips. We're going to keep our hips where they are. Belly button into your spine, ribs knit together. Begin to walk your hands forward, reaching long. I also like to think about cowing my tailbone. So my belly drops, my tailbone comes up. I keep walking those hands forward, and then you can relax your head down. Depending on your body, your head might be dangly. Maybe you can walk those hands and let your forehead rest on the ground, kind of like child's pose. Maybe you're super bendy and you're taking it chin to ground. Being very careful with that. Having prior practice. Wherever you are, feel your breath. Can you feel those arms hug together and your armpits reaching for the ground? While those hips reach high, Your armpits are reaching down. This can be a very awkward feeling pose. And then we'll come onto our bellies however you can. We're going to find our way to Sphinx. So your elbows come under your shoulders, your forearms come in front. Take a moment to spread those fingers out. Walk those feet apart. Again, check in with your hands. Fingertips grip, knuckles root down. Think about pulling yourself forward, proud chest. Gaze comes forward or up. So those elbows feel like they're squeezing together. You're almost pulling yourself forward as you present a proud chest. And then take a moment to squeeze your glute muscles as you lift your back up. Does that change the sensation if you use your glute muscles to help support your back? Exhale, let's come down to our bellies. Bring the hands beside the chest, tuck the toes, get ready for some strength, and let's push up to plank on the knees. Again, checking in with the fingertips, the root knuckles anchoring down, arms hugged together. And let's take a moment to go to full plank. So tucking those toes, lifting the knees and the sit bones up, squeezing the glutes together as you push away. If you come here and you're like, I don't like full plank, this is not for me, drop the knees. Now, if you're from the knees or on the toes, begin to lean forward over the tips of your fingers. Keep the elbows pointing back, and let's lower all the way down to the ground. Keep your hands where they are. Separate the feet. We're going to push our hands into the belly, into the ground, squeeze the shoulder blades together, raise the chest and the head, gazing down. This is our Cobra Pose. So our spine is long, our head is long, we're gazing at the floor. And then slowly lower down. Tuck the toes, feel the knees, embrace that strength. Let's push up to plank on the knees one more time. And then we are going to maneuver ourselves back just slightly and find our way to down dog. You have to think about that for a moment. Whew. So checking in with the hands as you push the mat forward, lifting those hips high. Begin to walk the dog, bending one knee at a time, stretching out the calves. Feeling your body grow as you push the mat away and those hips lengthen toward the ceiling. You're stretching your side body. And then coming up on both toes, lifting high. Exhale, allow the weight to come down through the heels. Gaze forward. Let's walk the feet to the front of the mat. Bend the knees a lot. Belly to thigh. Let your head fold down. Maybe you want to sway a little bit. Perhaps you want to think about lifting from the hips. Perhaps straightening your legs a little bit more straight. They don't have to be straight. Thinking high hips. Lift your toes, spread them out, set them down. Feel your feet connect through all four corners. And as you push into the feet, sweep your arms to the side and push yourself all the way to a nice, tall, extended mountain, reaching those arms long. Hands together. You're going to come through heart center. Arms by the sides. Start with a little bit of strength. Let's get ready to do a couple rounds of sun salutation. So all together, exhale the air. Inhale deep. Exhale long. Inhale, sweep the arms up, reaching high. Exhale, forward fold. All the way down. Inhale, half lift, hands to your shins. Exhale, fold. Plant your hands, step back, right foot. We're going to drop the bottom knee, So you come on up, hands to shin. Just like last week, let's think about pulling the front foot to the back and the back leg to the front as we lift those arms up. And if you choose, you can tuck the back toe, push into the back heel and see if you can raise that back knee. Whew. Now, if you're in low lunge or high lunge, we're going to bring those hands down to the ground and step back to plank on the toes or the knees. You get to choose. Engage that belly button, squeeze those glutes. Let's lean forward over the fingers. Keep the elbows in as you slowly lower all the way to the ground. Untuck those toes. Press the ground away, squeeze your glutes as you lift your chest and head off the mat. To your little cobra, tuck those elbows in. Exhale down. Tuck your toes, feel your knees. Push up to plank on the knees and find your way back to down dog. Reaching those hips high. We're going to walk those feet together at the back of the mat. Lift the right leg up. Scoop it under the body as we step forward into a lunge on the other side, dropping the back knee. Reaching those hands up. And we'll bring those hands down to the mat. Get ready for that great big step forward. To the front of the mat, finding your forward fold. And then we'll sweep those arms up, coming high, into your mountain. Bring your hands down through heart center. Finding your solid mountain. We got to do that on the other side for those lunges now. All together, let's exhale the air. Inhale deep. Exhale long. Inhale, sweep those arms up, reaching high. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Step back with your left foot this time. Drop the knee. Coming on up and taking a moment in that first lunge to pull the front foot forward, the back foot to the front of the mat. So they're coming in toward each other. Lift those arms up. Option to stay here or tuck the back toe, push the heel away and lift the knee. Just an option. Let's bring those hands down on either side of the front foot. Step back to your plank on the toes or the knees. Take a moment to squeeze the glutes together, belly button to spine, ribs knit together. Lean forward over the fingertips. Keep those elbows in and let's lower all the way down to the mat. Toes or knees, your choice. Feel your hands on the mat, squeeze your glutes, lengthen your spine as you reach your chest and head off the mat. Baby cobra. Exhale, will come down. Tuck the toes, feel the knees. Push on up to plank on the knees as you find your way to down dog. And over time, you'll notice this becomes a little more fluid. At the beginning and in the middle, it can feel awkward. Let's bring those feet together at the back of the mat. This time we're going to lift up the left leg. Looking forward, scooping that leg under and finding our lunge on the other side. Reaching those arms high, staying here just for a moment. Bringing the hands down and getting ready for that big step to the front of the mat, forward fold. Press your feet into the ground, root to rise, reach those arms tall. Exhale, hands through heart center by your sides. One thing I love about sun salutation is it really gets at a lot of different parts of the body. Right now, we're gonna bring those feet about hip width apart, sit back into your chair. And I want you to look down at your feet. Are your feet facing forward? If your knees are starting to come in, think about all four corners of your feet equally weighted on the floor, big toe side and the pinky toe side, and engage those inner muscles to parallel the legs so they're equal distance away from each other. And perhaps you want to sink a little bit lower in your chair, or if your body is screaming, that's when you come up to a more sustainable place. Comfortable challenge is where we're at. And then let's forward fold, bringing those hands down. Step to the back of your mat with your left foot, pivot the back foot, bend the front knee. Let's find our warrior two. Taking a moment in warrior two to sink into the front leg, but also have the back leg push away and work. Hands to your hips. Notice where they are. And encourage your hips and your torso to turn toward the side of the room. Then reach your arms straight out, keeping your torso toward the side of the room. Bring your gaze over your hand. I am a strong warrior. Flip those palms up, push the front leg straight. Let's lean back into our reverse warrior. Thinking about pushing the front foot into the ground as we reach that top hand up and over, feeling the side body stretch. Feeling that intentional breath. And coming back up to warrior two. Taking a moment to check in here. As we begin to lean forward over the front leg, bringing the top hand onto your thigh, pushing away. Top hand comes up and over into side angle. And here you get to choose. Am I staying here? Am I going to play patty cake with that low arm? Practice making it light, push into the feet. Or I'm going to reach that bottom hand out. And I really engage my leg and my side body to do that. Your arm is out, bringing it back to side angle. We're going to pivot ourselves around the mat, stepping the back foot forward about halfway. Beginning to lean over the front foot, picking up the back leg, actively engage that foot, flex or point, come up into your airplane pose. And then move your hands to your hips, still in airplane. Notice if your hips are uneven, if one of them is higher than the other. See if you can encourage your hip bones to turn, so your hip bones, your torso is shining equally each side. Those flashlights are shining to the ground, not one to the ground and one to the side. Play around with that. Notice how it may feel different. Pushing into the standing leg, let's stand up on one leg. Challenge yourself, see how that goes. Bring your knee into your chest. And then set that leg down. Shake it out. Close your eyes. Notice how your left side and your right side feels. My right side, my right leg is a little quivery. My left leg's like, that wasn't bad. So now we gotta give the other side a turn. So bring those feet hip width apart. Sit back into your chair. Wide-legged chair. Gaze down at your feet. Check that they're pointing forward. Feeling all four corners, the pinky side, the big toe side, both sides of your heels. Work those knees so they're parallel apart. And then if you want an extra challenge, lift those toes. See if you can set the big toes down all by themselves. Remember, if that's easy, work on the other toes. If that's hard, just keep thinking big toe, big toe, big toe. My right one is still stubborn. Then exhale, forward fold. Step back with your right foot as you pivot that back foot around and find your warrior two on the other side. So although the front leg is what you're bending into, your back leg is still pushing into the ground to help support you as well. Hands to hips, notice where your hips are, and encourage your torso and your hips to come toward the side. Reach those arms out long and bring just your gaze over your hand. Feeling that breath. I am a strong warrior. Strong warrior shake. You most definitely do. Hop up the palms, press into the front leg and lean back, pushing your front foot into the ground and reaching over with that top hand, opening up that side body, feeling that intentional breath, feeling the space where that breath navigates to. And we'll come back down to warrior two. Begin to lean forward over the front leg, putting your forearm onto your leg, reach the top hand up and over into side angle. And then choose your option. Are you focusing on that side angle, pushing the back foot and reaching those top fingers? Are you playing with the light bottom arm getting lighter? Are you stretching that bottom arm out? Cool thing about yoga, you have many years to grow and you have many options on days when your energy is at different levels. So coming back to your side angle before you pivot down to the ground, stepping in about halfway, leaning forward over that front leg, engaging that back foot, that back leg to find your way up to airplane. Bring your hands to your hip bones and check into where are those hip bone flashlights shining. So one of them shining toward the side or the ceiling. And encourage your hip bones, your torso to shine toward the ground. So both your hip flashlights are pointing at the ground. That is hard. Press into your standing foot, begin to stand up and bring that right knee into the chest. If you touch down, just then try again. Bring your right knee into the chest. Balance on one foot, especially with all this ice. Balance is super important to practice. And slowly, I didn't do that slowly, come down, shake it out. And let's get ready to go down to our mat. So we've done some wide-legged stuff together today. Let's bring those feet together. Again, you always have the choice of going wider if you choose. Bring those arms out in front of you like a zombie. Squeeze the glutes, belly button into the spine, nice tall stance. Rise up on the balls of your feet. So not the toes, don't go quite that far. Can you feel the bone behind your toes, that ball area? Feel your balance on the balls of your feet, the toes and the little bone behind it. And then slowly feeling the roots of your feet and the rise of your head. Can you bend your knees and play with the balance as you slowly toe squat down to the mat. Remember, you can bring those arms down to catch you at any time. Hold it for a moment. Toe squatting zombie, something like that. And then let's come down to our sit bones on the mat. Shake out those legs. We made it down to the ground. But we're going to do a little tiny bit of core. So let's come down all the way onto our back bodies. Knees are bent, feet are planted. Let's bring our right knee into the chest. Arms can wrap around behind the thigh or wrap around the shin. And let's take this right leg and extend it down the mat. But think about picking it up and letting it hover on the ground. Think about sending your low back into the mat. Tuck your chin and bring up your head and shoulders just a little bit. So you're in kind of like a boat shape, holding your leg in. And then let's switch legs.
Bring the right leg in, left leg extend. Whew. You guys got this. Let's switch again. And keep trying to switch if this doesn't feel good on your neck and head. You can also bring your neck and head down and think about switching your legs while keeping your low back down and your back and your neck. Let's do 2 more, one on each side. Bring them both into yourself. Give yourself a little hug and a little ball. And then let's release those feet down. Whole body comes down. Then we'll bring that left knee back into the chest. But this time we're going to take that left foot, cross it over the right knee. Bring the knee out. So you're in a figure 4 position. Feeling free to look at the screen if my explanation didn't make sense. Think about engaging your muscles to push your triangle shape in your leg to have that go away from your body. Check in with the sensation. If you feel sensation around your hip or your glute, I want you to stay here. If you're not feeling much, you can bring your foot off the ground to bring that triangle shape, that figure 4 shape closer to you. And maybe you want to curl up and grab behind your leg and then bring yourself back down into what's called a reverse pigeon. So you can be in figure 4 with your foot on the ground or in reverse pigeon with your foot off the ground, yogi's choice. Wherever you are, check in with your head and neck and jaw. Can you release any effort there? Sometimes if we're really straining in reverse pigeon, what we need to do to release that effort is plant the foot on the floor. And then see if we can release the neck, head, and chin while keeping the stretch in the leg. Taking 2 intentional deep breaths. And then slowly we'll come out of that, crossing the legs, and then we'll bring the right knee into the chest. Holding here for a moment, and then crossing that right ankle over the left knee. Right knee comes out, finding your figure 4. Think about intentionally bringing your right leg away from your body. Checking in with the sensation. Is this a good place to stay? Do I want to release some of that effort? Do I want to lift my foot? Bringing my knee closer. Do I want to wrap my arms around my leg? All of these are questions. These are curiosity questions that you get to explore with your body on this day at this time. Depending on the activities we've been doing, how much water we've been drinking, how much sleep we've had, if we've slipped on the ice or not, every time we practice on the mat, we're curious. And every time we want to give our body permission to move in different way. Because we feel different, we are different in all of these different moments. So one day reverse pigeon might work, one day figure 4, one day you're like, forget that, I'm not bending my knee. You get to be curious, finding your pose and following 2 intentional breaths. Slowly release that leg, bring both feet to the mat. Allow those legs to touch. Those arms are going to go out wide like a T or a cactus, depending how much space you have. I'm going to bring my knees up, my shins to 90 today, and then drop over into a twist. You can choose which version of twist you'd like. Ooh. Let it be a relaxed twist. You don't have to keep your legs together. You can let those knees separate. Gaze can be at the ceiling or over the opposite shoulder. You want to bring that twist into your neck and upper spine, as well as your hips and low spine. I inhale, I'm aware of my body. I exhale, I calm my body. Sometimes that mantra takes a little work. Other days, it might be magic in the first try or two. We'll slowly come out of that twist. Mouth and knees to the right, well, the other side. You might be doing the opposite side as me. So we'll take that twist in the opposite direction, making it a relaxed twist. Knees go one way, head and neck go the other. And we'll grow the space from that hip to the shoulder. Allow that diagonal line to grow. I inhale, I'm aware of my body. I exhale, I calm my body. Slowly come back to center. Let's reach those arms overhead. Allow the knees to drop to one side and let's roll over onto our bellies. Ooh. Centering on the mat. And let's end with having our hands by the chest, knees wide, and slowly find your way back to a child's pose. So I like my knees wide, big toes together. Reaching those arms long. This can feel so good if my spine has been crunchy from sitting in a chair. And so allow your hands to reach long, your chest and armpits to feel weighted, your sit bones to feel weighted on your hips. And follow for 2 intentional breaths. Perhaps feeling your back body expand with an inhale. And notice a little minuscule sink, a release with the exhale. Then feel your arms and your hands and slowly walk yourself up to a seat on your knees, just like where we started. Rolling those shoulders back, allowing your hands to rest heavy on your lap. Notice the root. Wherever you're touching the mat, visualize those roots reach down through the floor, into the earth, past the frozen layer and into the warmth of the earth, a little bit deeper down. And allow the warmth from the inner earth to travel up those roots and into your body, giving you a nice warm glow, spreading all the way up through your spine and out the top of your head. All together, let's end with a long exhale.